the early days, Channel 12 was loaded with young, talented people, but they were a bunch of unknowns. However, the station did have one star in 1954, Luther. 14 years earlier, Luther was just a teenager pumping gas when he met Joe Engel.
And I remember he was a customer, and he would come in, and we'd kid him about the team, if it was doing good or bad, you know. And he always would make a joke. He'd make a joke about everything. If they weren't doing very good, oh, we'll come back tomorrow, we'll be okay. Well, we read that he was going to open a radio station, so that's when I asked him if, you know, how about getting a job? And he said, yeah, we'll come on down.
He signed on with Engel's brand new radio station on New Year's Eve in 1940. Luther was an immediate hit. The newspapers raved about the DJ with the sun in his voice. But world events soon interrupted the teenager's career.
I actually broadcast the first bulletin in Chattanooga on that Sunday afternoon of the attack on Pearl Harbor. And 2 years later, I was in the service. I went into the service.
Luther served in the Signal Corps, island hopping in the Pacific with MacArthur. When Luther got out of the Army, he went back on the air. His first TV experience came in an Atlanta studio for a Red Cross program.
And I was so engrossed in what was going on, I was supposed to narrate it, I think, that I missed my cue. They were going. It was so interesting to me because I'd never been inside a television studio.
Luther's first TV show at 12 was a mix of news, talent, and talk show.
I was the little gal that sat right next to him there when he started, and I read the weather. And I had no idea what he looked like or anything. I just loved his voice and his happy, uplifted way of presenting everything. To be seated next to him and to be chosen, it just really was great.
But not all of the young crew treated Luther with such respect. In fact, they loved to pull practical jokes on him live on the air.
Rich Miller made a dummy. Well, one of the best things we ever did. And so we dressed it. It was stuffed, you know, with cotton. It was just a dummy. And we dressed it, put, you know, coat, tie, hat, everything. So then he said, well, let's see, now Luther says, now let's see what's going on out, you know, on the street. So he had a shot of this parking garage, and there was a wall, you know, there. So it showed Dave Andrews and I dressed up in hats, you know, we put an identical one of us like the dummy, you know what. Okay, so we start walking in, you know, you see us, and he says, well, what is going on? See, Luther had no idea. Well, he said, what in the world's going on here? And so we start talking, and then we start getting angry, you know, and then start really attacking each other, you know, and shaking and fighting. And by that time, we're over to the wall. Well, we ducked behind the wall. I pick up the dummy, and we had it cleared with a policeman who was there. Connie Wolf is hobbling, and she was dressed like a little old with a cane, and she's hobbling. So I tossed the dummy off the roof, and it hits right at her, you know, and she reacts, and the policeman runs over. He said, oh my goodness, Luther is just panic. You know, you can't imagine.
As the years passed by, those early personalities moved on, all except Luther, who refused better-paying jobs in bigger cities. He eventually became the face of TV 12.
I think a lot of people, when they think of Channel 12, they think of Luther. You know, certain people just emanate certain qualities, and to me, Luther was always lovable Luther.
That's right, Luther. You're the king, and you can get away with stuff like that.
Luther can do
He's the king. Bull manure.
I think people get the idea that he loves to laugh. He loves those jokes. He loves his first wife, Mary. He loves his buddies, you know, buddies from the past.
But we're even prouder to call Chattanooga home.
Great. That's the best one of all right there.
Okay, old pal.
It's 11 p.m. Do you know where your children are? A community service of WDEF TV 12.